of talking to my friend and talking to me too. That's where his mind was at. He changed me in terms of understanding a relationship and what make a man in terms of that more to it. That's why I say it's an individual thing as we grow and as we kind of get our purpose together. And I think sometimes we're missing something too, because I really think there's a difference between uncontrollable penis and a man kind of wondering a little bit. I think those are two distinct things. I mean, do we agree? Yeah. See, those two things, and I think to a woman.
Wait a minute, what do you mean?
I think, see, a woman, she thinks it's the same. She thinks a man just pursuing
anyone,
a woman, satisfying the penis, is the same as a man who is needing something that you're not giving him. He's not looking for a penis being fulfilled. He's looking for a need being met. And I think that's the thing that women seem to not want to accept.
Right.
They don't want to accept that.
That's good.
I can't let go. I can't let.
Okay, guys. You know what? I like what you were talking about earlier when you elaborated on the fact that which one of you guys said you were talking about being raised in the church.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Share.
We're talking about, again, one of the concepts is what you learn growing up is what you become later on. And my comment was, my father was a Baptist minister.
Okay.
Had the finest women in the church. Chasing them and finishing some stuff.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it that way. Okay. So we're, like I said, from the pulpit to the pews, it's not about, he knew the Bible better than most people in the church.
Okay.
And what he should and should not be, all the shall that and shall this and all the commandments, probably all 12 of them. Because he probably made up a few as he was doing what he did. So again, for me it is, what do you do when you are in a position to make a decision? You know right from wrong. I don't care whether you came from a single parent home, a no daddy home, or foster home. You know.
Right.
Okay? So it's about what choice do you make at that point. Part of the issue is women are helping you make that choice. Fine as women.
Yes. And you know what? I agree. In fact, I agree so much. Let me say this, gentlemen. I am an advocate for men. You would almost think that, well, of course I'm not against my girls, because I know that we are God's gift to you. But I feel like men get the worst rap, on most levels. You get it, and doggone it, you get it in your home, and then you go outside in the world and you get it. And women they lack the understanding sometimes now to be able to understand that fact. And because a wise woman, she will strategically learn and do all the things that's necessary to make her man happy, to make him feel like he is the king. Even my pastor said one time that even if he is not, had a bad day, and he failed at everything he's tried to do, you need to go behind, a wise woman will go behind him and say, baby, you know what, that's okay, because the next time, we'll do it the next time, And I think, and the Bible says also that a wise woman builds her house up, So men, I think that as it relates to what you're sharing about your dad being a pastor, knowing all the thou shalls, thou shall nots, he had a choice. But then there are women who come behind. And women purposely seek y'all out, because they know y'all, have the proclivity to whatever they show. And it don't matter, and it can look stinking to me, But some men will still go after, and say, I want to hit it. I'm a
run up in.
Wow, I'm gonna run up in.
Bring it on.
Tap back. Y'all said,
Well, I'm gonna leave it on the bed.
I want to touch something. If you let me touch something,
Okay.
I want to touch something real quick. One of the phrases that we often talk about is needs, right? But we don't seem to talk about that enough. You know, the question really becomes, what does my man need?
Okay.
Because if you're not addressing my need, a dirty, stinking woman who's meeting my needs
Yes. That's
is a wonderful thing. Because you can live in this beautiful home, this beautiful domicile. You can have the wonderfulest of kids. You can have all the luxuries of life.
wow.
But if you treat me like I'm less than a man,
Right.
and I drive to South Dallas, and my South Dallas woman lets me put my feet up on the coffee table and eat chicken wings and throw chicken wing bones on the floor, but that's my need. I need to feel good about who I am. Sooner or later, I'm gonna say, you can have the house, you can take the kids, I'm gonna stay here with this nasty, stinking woman that you think she is, who treats me like a man. You understand what I'm saying? So it ain't about stuff. It's about respect.
Yeah.
It's about meeting my needs. It's about making me feel like I'm a king.
Wow. Yes.
And
Yes.
many times we gloss over this man's needs.
Okay.
And some other woman on the street
Okay.
tells him how nice his tie is. Tells him, you sure
Smells
smell good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sooner or later he's going, wow, I ain't heard that in months. You understand? And so that need is not being met.
That's right. Yeah.
And when that need is not being met, he begins to gravitate towards the met need.
But would you agree as men, let's get real with this.
Come on.
Even if our needs are being met, sometimes it's in us to just do what we do. There's a saying, and I don't know if I made it up, but women have sex out of love. In other words, some kind of emotional feeling about you. We have sex for love. We ain't gotta care nothing about you.
That's right.
You understand? I just go.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
I don't care nothing. I just want to hit, cause I'm still.
Right.
I'm gonna spray when it's over.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
And here's
It ain't about no emotional bond.
It's almost
Here's
like
the new news.
It's almost like
Here's the
Hunger
new
Games.
news.
Yeah.
Here's the new news.
It's like
Yeah.
a lion.
They doing the
hunting
same.
I know they are.
Right, they
Make
really
this
are.
man, make this
They
man
are
on
doing
the
the
ride.
same. Nowadays they're doing the same. The game has changed. The position that a man used to have, like you just saying, that they perceive us as. I go out now and I see women hunting down men just like men would hunt down women, and it's surprising and intriguing to me because I sit back and I'm like, wow. And then I get a little embarrassed because I'm like, that should be me.
Yeah, but we got.
But she's coming at me, you know,
but we as men, we got a dual standard.
Yeah.
We expect you as a woman to accept when we are unfaithful. We don't have a problem
Okay.
having another woman's legs bent back like chicken wings.
Right.
You understand? But the thought that your woman or your wife, whatever,
Yeah.
that her legs is pinned back like chicken wings, and she done gloss some brother's
Right,
shaft
right,
over.
right.
It's like you this. I ain't gonna say the names.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're too weak as men to accept sometimes when we cause women to do what they otherwise wouldn't do because of our fallacy of doing what we do.
Right.
Now you this and you that.
Yeah.
Why do we as men think that they should forgive us, but we can't forgive
Right.
them?
And it's
If
that
you cause
migration.
your wife or your woman to go outside what she would normally do, man up.
It's that
Man
migration that we're just talking
Man
about.
up.
Women are approaching men just like men would approach women. So it's that migration, the same thing that you're talking about. A woman will, her characteristics can take the form of just like a man. I mean, listen, if you're going to fulfill your needs, then I have a right to fulfill my needs.
Yeah.
That's the way it is nowadays, even with employment, with employment opportunities.
But understand, we cause them to do something
every
that they may not do.
Yeah,
But
where there's an
sometimes-
action, there's a
sometimes
reaction.
there's some whore, they will do it no matter what.
Right. There's an action, there's a reaction.
I want Butch, go ahead and elaborate on what you were saying earlier.
I think, as I said, see, to me, there's a difference in an uncontrollable penis and a man who's wondering. See, I think that a man, that is just me, how I see this thing, and as I talk to friends, we perceive as they perceive, and this could be a fallacy, but we have a standard for what we do. I think our basis that, I think we use Solomon, we use Moses, we use people in the Bible who did have other women, but it was not uncontrollable penis. That's why I said there's a difference. See, there was always been a need in the Bible. And the man was allowed to have this other woman, not as just a woman, as a woman that served a need for him. So I think we as men, I think that's why we feel this acceptance. Because I think it's true. But now I don't know where it's in the Bible where the woman was allowed to do this. I mean, it's and so I think that's why we have the problem, because we don't have any evidence where it's shown to us where a woman in the Bible was allowed to do this.
She would have been murdered.
Yeah, you always look for a basis to make a decision on.
Right.
And that formulates your concept too.
As opposed to God ordained practices. I mean, when these men had these other women or other concubines or whatever, I'm not sure that I read into it that God ordained that. It was a story. It was accepted by some, but I'm not sure that God ordained it.
No, it wasn't ordained. Marriage is what's ordained.
It was accepted by the society at the time.
relationships.
Just like today, we got so many things that are accepted, but not necessarily ordained or right.
I guess what I'm saying though, but it was a practice that was stated in the Bible with no negative. Nothing in the Bible.
There was
nowhere. Nowhere. Tell me one. That's my point.
We didn't see the judgment side.
No, nowhere.
And the reason why is because we're dealing with an Eastern culture, and their perception of the Western culture is totally different. Kings were allowed in a kingdom. If you were a king, all the women were yours,
At your disposal.
basically at your disposal.
I have a question. Okay, how many of you here, if your wife was found cheating in a relationship with another man, would you forgive her?
If I was married, which I'm not, and my actions.
You're not married?
No, I'm not. Happily divorced since '86. But if I was married and I was unfaithful, and then I caused my wife to be unfaithful, and I knew it wasn't in her, then I'd have to embrace her and accept it and try to lift her back to the level in which she was.
Okay, good.
I think this was when you really become a man and you stop being a little boy. I think if I loved this woman, and if I married her, obviously I had to love her at that time. And if I thought it made our relationship better, if I thought we would be a better team because of that one mistake, I would forgive her for that.
You know what, something just,
That makes a lot of
your
sense.
reason for being able to forgive her is because if your actions,
Yes.
that's the only way, so
Yes.
in other words, everything is fine at home.
But-
You taking care, wait a second, you taking care of her, you taking care of home, you pay the car notes, you maintain the mortgage, and you a good man to her. But there's, to her, communication is just toe down in your home, and she's having lunch with one of her coworkers. He's funny. They enjoy the same kind of movies. They start chatting on Facebook. They on all kind of things happening. Invited to work dinners. You won't go with her. Bam! All of a sudden, one Christmas, they get together. She has an affair with this guy. Now, you still would forgive her?
I agree with Butch, and I listen to some conservative co-hosts that you would think that if their wife cheated on them, that they would leave them. If you have a long-term, meaningful relationship and you love this woman, you love your life, you don't leave because of a mistake with a mistake like that affair. I agree with you. I was just saying that if I caused them based on my actions,
Right.
I have more
Yeah.
reason.
Okay.
But I agree with him.
That's
I think, I don't know. And I would probably struggle because I'm faithful in my relationship.
okay.
You understand? Hold on, so
Okay.
but let me elaborate on that.
Okay.
But going back to what my man said here, if you all have a relationship that has been rolling and you made a mistake, there was a slip up on either part, it couldn't possibly be mended, But if the relationship has been spiraling down and her stepping out on you is just a result of a relationship that's going down anyway, it may not be repairable.
Okay.
But it has to do with, like we said, how much has been invested and how can we, if possible, put this thing back together.
Andre.
I believe some of those things happen due to two things again. I'll go back to from the beginning: trust and respect. There was a breakdown in one, if not both of those components of a relationship. That said, there's now a new level of trust and respect that either is going to accelerate the relationship or dissolve it
After the affair?
after the affair.
Okay,
You got to come back together. Obviously, you found out, she found whatever.
okay,
You're now at a whole different level of trust and respect.
okay.
That foundation, and I think the only way that can be managed is through God.
Yeah.
Because we are weak as shit. Excuse my language on it. And a woman will either do something to get at us, get back at us, or to accelerate the relationship to another level.
Okay. Lakeith?
Did you say this was my lady friend or my wife?
This is your weight. Can be a committed, because in committed relationships, people are in committed relationships for a number of years, and they can feel to a degree that they're married. You know, it's like a marriage and or marriage. So
I like to think I could.
you were like, okay,
I like to think I could. I've never been confronted with that situation,
okay.
but I'd like to think that I would be strong enough or whatever it takes, understanding enough to reconcile it. Yeah.
Okay. Lee?
I would say that based on what God
What'd
has
you say? Hell no.
I would like to say, based on me knowing what God has forgave me for,
There it is.
I could forgive her. But then the question would be from that point is, I've forgiven her for it, but do I want to continue with that relationship? Then that would be the question in my mind.
Yeah.
Do I want to continue with it?
That's good.
If I then the decision I have to make is as like Gentry was saying, is it going to add quality to the relationship because of what has happened, because of what we talk about and what we work through, and why the mistake happened, or is the relationship already on a spiral and a downturn to the point where I feel that I don't need to put any more effort in it? I've forgiven her, but the decision would be, should I take the high road or should I just take the low road and say, listen, I think we should call this, just call this relationship quits. And it's not because of what you've done, but because of what we're faced with at this point. You know, we're not going to go, we're kind of migrating out of this relationship instead of being in it. Then we need to make a decision. So I could forgive, but it's always the saying, guys can forgive, but they never forget.
They don't either. But
Right.
let me say this. Aren't our egos involved in this too?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, the egos are definitely involved because
Don't we want to know?
yeah, especially if it's a friend. It depends on who she stepped out with. No, it could be your best friend, or it could be somebody you don't even know.
You know what? I disagree with. Well, that's important too. But I believe that a man, once he finds out that his woman, his wife, has been intimate with another man, the first thing he want to know is, was it good?
Did you come?
Did you have that ain't the first question we asked her.
But you thinking that?
That's not the first question.
Did she holler? Did she scream?
What's it? Wait a minute. And
Does the nigga live here is what we want to know. That's the first question.
How many times were you guys together?
How many times were y'all together? How many times did you
Did you have oral sex with her?
Right,
Did you do it in the butt?
did you go down on
Right,
it?
right.
And I'm saying this
Was he
because
better than me?
Yeah, that's the first thing.
Yes,
Was he better than
We
me?
might not ever ask that.
But that's what you
We want to know, but we don't want to know.
And I'm saying all that because of the conversations with women. Those are the things that we believe that you guys want to know, and we believe, most women believe you are not forgiving. You would not, because of your ego.
Not
Excuse
You
me.
would not.
Are these-
So therefore, and women are very, very, I think we are more scheming and cunning as to keep our relationship. If we were cheating, you would not know unless we probably
Y'all
told you
clever with
about
that.
it.
Y'all run the
Maybe
game.
a couple
got-
of
they
them-
I want to pose a
invented
question. I want to pose a
Ladies
question.
invented the game.
I want to pose a question.
Yeah.
Why do women think that all guys are interested in is sex?
Why do they think that? That's a
Why do women think that?
Well,
It's
because
amazing to me.
I would think that because that happens to be the number one thing a guy wants.
I go back to
No, it's not. It really isn't.
Wait. You can go into a
It's
relationship.
a driving force,
It's a
but
right.
it's not the only thing.
And I have relationships with women, friendships with women, where they have made their commitment of faith is to not be sexually active with a man unless and until they're married. Now, I know this is probably, I mean, you have Christians now that, and I'm so glad we're talking about this, that will have relationships, sexual relationships before marriage, and they're Christians, and they, and then when a guy meets a woman who has set her standard, her commitment is in her heart, and she says, listen, I can't, it's not that I can't do this, because I want to do it, but because of my commitment, I can't do it, so I think that we women, it's not that we think that all you guys want is sex. We think that's most of the time the thing you're after, the first thing.
It depends on, like I said before, first out, lead, and get on top.
Yeah.
So how can we as men get that dedication
Let me
that
say this.
women have
Let me say this.
about the sex?
As men, if we start to look at women, when you talk about women, because I be in the bar and a woman come in and guy be talking about, oh man, I did this to her, I did that. I don't want to hear that because that's somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's mother.
That's right.
I got granddaughters, sisters, had a mother. I don't want to hear that. If men would treat women the way they respect their daughters and their sisters and their mother, we wouldn't do what we do. We wouldn't talk and say the things we say.
That's right.
Unfortunately, most men, young men growing up
It's an
today
ego. It's an ego.
don't have that
Yeah, they don't
same
have that.
respect.
Yeah.
When a young man will come in and shoot his mama and his grandmother and his aunt and his sister, what respect do you have about having sex with one of them?
Yeah, it is.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we got a whole bigger issue when it
And
comes
if
to
we
that.
goes
be,
back
and
to
if
how
we be
you were
real
taught
as men,
when it comes to a lot of
sometimes
things.
we don't even look at women as women. We look at you as a receptacle to put something in.
That's true.
Because
But that comes from where we are. If you don't respect
Now,
yourself,
I'm just gonna,
then you gonna look at a human being.
I'm
that
just
way.
gonna keep it real. If it's just sex, I can go to a strip club.
That's right.
I can go to anywhere and say, listen, just like I see this shirt I want to purchase,
That's right.
and if I feel it's the right price, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. But if I don't feel it's the right price, then I'm gonna go somewhere else and get a cheaper shirt.
That's right.
You can always get what you want.
That's right.
So it's not all about sex. For a lot of times, the women think that all this guy wants is sex. I can go get sex anywhere.
Before you
Long
get older,
as long as I got some dough in my pocket, and if I don't want no strings attached, hey, what is it hitting for? And then you call the shots, and okay, that's good. Let's do it. If not, not here. You can move on. So it's more than just sex because I can get that anywhere. So it's the sexual part along with the intelligence, along with the initiative, along with the concern, the love, the respect. When a guy starts to see all that, that turns him on. That turns me on to the highest. When I see that, I'm like,
that's when it ain't sex. That's when it's making love.
That's right.
And that's
when
what
you
really,
go to another
that's
level.
really what a man wants.
Yeah, you
I'm
go
gonna
to
make
another
money.
level. Yeah.
I don't just have sex
And
with
if a woman told me, listen, the sex is there. You ain't got to worry about that. You can get that anytime, but let's deal with this. That would take a comfort out of a guy's mind to the point where now you deal with the real issue.
Right.
Instead of, no, you got to marry me before you get this. You know, I mean,
Or in chapter 7 it says 90 days.
Yeah, it makes, wait a minute, the rule,
come from?
I read it out of the book, it says, after 2 dates and 3 kisses, it's on.
I still think it's
You
about
know.
control. I really do.
Yeah.
In my conversation,
Now who's controlling what?
I think that like, especially the black female, it's very important to her to control the man. I think that's very important. I've talked to ladies, including my relatives, and I've listened to them, and we've had conversation, and I listened to how they complain. And so I asked them, okay, now you complain about a man not having a job, you complain about a man not respecting you, you complain about a man not caring. Then I said, but I see you, and I'm talking about relatives. I said, but you got a man who has all those 3, and you still disrespect him.